Am I the asshole for changing the locks after my parents gave my brother a key to my house without asking me? I, 29F, bought my house about a year and a half ago. It's a small 3-bedroom place. But I worked and saved for years for the deposit, so I'm very proud of it. My older brother, Jake, 33 Mega, recently broke up with his girlfriend. They lived in her apartment, so he had to leave quickly. My parents asked if he could stay with me for a week or two. I said no. That sounds harsh, but Jake has a history of moving in with family and never leaving. A few years ago, he stayed with our parents after losing his job. It was meant to be 1 month and became almost 2 years. He paid no rent, barely helped, and got angry whenever they asked about his plans. I work from home and use one bedroom as my office. Honestly, I just don't want to live with Jake. We get along better when we don't share a space. My parents kept asking. I suggested he stay with them, but Mom said their house was too stressful and Jake needed somewhere quiet. Last Friday, I came home from dinner and found Jake's car in my driveway. He was in my kitchen making food, with suitcases in the hallway and boxes in my spare room. I asked how he got in. He casually said Mom gave him the emergency key I had left with my parents. Apparently, they decided that once he was already inside, I would calm down and let him stay. Jake said he only needed a couple of weeks and accused me of being dramatic. I told him to pack and leave. He refused at first, saying he had nowhere to go that night. I told him he could stay with our parents, get a hotel, or call a friend. But he was not sleeping in my house after entering without permission. He called Mom, who said I was humiliating him during a difficult breakup. She reminded me that I stayed with them for 4 months, after being laid off during the pandemic. That is true, but I asked first. Paid them monthly. Bought groceries and moved out as soon as I found another job. I also didn't let myself into their house and announce that I lived there. Jake eventually left, but called me selfish and said I cared more about an empty room than whether he had somewhere safe to sleep. The next morning, I had the exterior locks changed and did not give my parents another key. When Mom found out, she cried and said I treated her like a criminal and destroyed her trust over one bad decision. Dad agrees they should not have given Jake the key, but thinks changing the locks was unnecessary. Jake is now staying with my parents. They complain that he stays awake all night, leaves dishes everywhere, and smokes in their garden after Dad asked him not to. My aunt says I should let Jake stay because I have more space and accuse me of being stubborn about my precious house. I don't feel guilty for making Jake leave, but I feel guilty about changing the locks without discussing it first. Mom had the key for over a year and never abused it before this.